if that's your thing.
If that's your thing. Carla Barnhill is our advice giver around here.
Sure. No, everything.
Well, women actually know everything, whether they've produced a child or not. Hey, Carla, how are
Hey,
things? Nice to have you back on the show. It's been a while.
Thank you. It has been a while. I was thinking the last time I was on, we were talking about that football team.
Oh, the Los Angeles Vikings?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think that's safe to say at 12:30 because I think anybody who would be watching that game won't be listening to the show right now.
No, right.
It's the alternative to listening to the show.
Yes. We're
Yes.
not going to talk about them today.
No, we're not because I did not follow your advice, though. Here's what I'll tell people. They should follow Carla's advice because last Monday night I was stuck in a hotel in some place. And
what did you do?
I sometimes when lonely men whose wives have been away for 3 weeks, as my wife has been, doing yoga training out in California, find themselves in a hotel room and there's a television there.
Okay, I was going to say, where is this going?
They watch things they shouldn't watch.
Yes.
And that happened to me. I turned on Monday Night Football, and as it turns out, the Vikings were playing. I didn't even know they were playing, and I got sucked in.
Yeah,
I was cheering for them. I was rooting.
And then what happened?
He hit the minibar.
And then, as happens to men in those hotel rooms, I had this sinking sense of my soul having been ripped away from me. I just had this sense of emptiness and demise. I felt worse afterward.
Yep.
Yeah, It wasn't good. And Carla had suggested, look, if they break your heart, and they don't break everyone's heart. Look, there are millions of people in this state for whom they are true fans, and they're going to be fans forever, and their hearts are not broken by such.
Those people have an illness.
Well, anyway, I didn't follow your advice, and I'm going to from now on. I'm going to follow the advice of Carla, the advice giver.
That's right. And you are well to do so. You want to know what my advice is about today?
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about getting yourself out of a rut.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so if you're stuck in a rut of any kind, a money rut, like a financial rut, a relationship rut, physical rut, professional rut, whatever it is, we're going to get you unstuck.
Wow.
That's terrific, because I usually just call that my life.
Well, yeah. Right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing with being stuck in a rut, and I speak from a lot of personal experience here.
Okay.
I have felt stuck in a rut off and on for most of the last, 10 years. so I think for a lot of us, especially as we get to kind of this age where things in life are a little bit settled-ish,
Yes.
where you feel like, well, it's not like I'm going back to school anytime soon, and it's not like, I'm going to uproot my life. There's not a whole lot of adventure on the horizon most days.
Yeah. And too much change can be disruptive to the promises you've made. Yes.
Yes, exactly. You've made a set of commitments to certain things at this point in life, and anyway, so it can just sort of feel like you're sort of stuck. But really, I think in some ways we need to reframe the way we think about a rut in general.
Oh.
I think it's actually kind of a positive thing. It's a signal in our lives that we've got a little bit of wanderlust going on in one way or another. And I think it's because we really aren't made to be in the same routine forever. Like, we really are made to kind of go through stages of growth and change, and I think just because we hit adulthood, that doesn't change. We continue to kind of grow and mature, and it's sort of silly to think about, for the first, let's say, 25, 30 years of your life, you can change your mind about a lot of things, but boy, when you hit your 40s, then you can't change anymore. Like, that seems to be the mentality that we have, and I think that's a mistake. So the whole, getting stuck in a rut, I think, is a signal to our bodies and our brains that it's time for something new. It's a good thing. It's an opportunity if we look at it that way.
Well, that's making lemonade.
Yep.
And,
So go ahead.
I was going to ask, and how does one then make those changes without feeling that gnawing pressure that maybe you're going to be stuck there and not be able to make the change you wanted?
Well, that's what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, excellent.
Ready? I got 4 tips.
All right.
Points.
I'm going to write them
Okay?
down as we always do.
All
The
right.
4 tips from Carla.
They're actually kind of steps because I think they go in order.
Oh, that's
right.
even better. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so the first one is to just let go of the guilt. Let go of the idea that something is wrong with you, that you're flawed somehow, that you're stuck in this rut. Okay, that's step one. Because for a lot of us, we feel like I'm stuck. It's because I'm stupid or lousy or lazy or whatever, and this is how I am, and other people don't experience this. It's just me because I'm a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
so first, just let go of that.
well,
Because
Doug-
everybody experiences.
Doug doesn't experience that, number one, but
No, right. He never thinks he's a loser.
right. But I'm with you, Carla.
Yeah, right.
I just
So
think someone
John and
gamed
I
the
know.
system if I
You
lose.
feel this sense of, it's called guilt.
Okay. It's called
An
guilt.
emotion.
Oh.
One of those feelings you've heard about.
Is that what people refer to? Okay. All right. Step one is let
So
go
you
of the
gotta-
guilt.
you gotta
Don't
let
blame
go of it.
yourself.
You
All
gotta
right.
you got to remind yourself that everybody goes through this, that it's not a failing on your part. And like I said, think of it as this positive opportunity, like something in you is ready for something new. And now you're going to figure out how to tap into that a little bit. But the problem for a lot of us is we overthink that rut. So this is point 2.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. So let go of the guilt, but then don't overthink it. People get so obsessed with, why did this happen? What is going on? Why am I in this rut? And when you think of yourself as driving down a gravel road and you get stuck in an actual rut in your car,
Yes.
you don't spend that time thinking, now how did this happen? How did I was driving and no, you figure out how am I going to get out of this thing?
Nice.
And then you figure out, okay, I'm not going down that road anymore. I need to be more careful because it's it's wet and dark out here, and I don't want to get stuck again. So I'm going to drive differently now, right? So you don't think about that when you're in it, right? In an actual rut in your vehicle.
Gotcha.
But we tend to get kind of obsessed with that when we're stuck in it, in the life rut. We get obsessed with, how did this happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
So get yourself out of it, then you can revisit that question. So before you get waylaid thinking about what happened, just let go of that too. Don't overthink it. Okay, so then step 3, and this is where we really hit the money now. Ready?
Yep.
Think tweak, not change.
Oh, I like to be
Okay,
tweaked.
so again, a lot of us, when we get stuck in these ruts, we think you have to make this major, drastic change.
Okay.
I need, I got to lose 20 pounds by Christmas. I need a new job by next year. I have to have this project done in a week. I want $5,000 in the bank by next year. Whatever it is, we think, okay, I got to do something. Something big has to change. And then we get overwhelmed by that great big change.
Mm-hmm. Baby stepping.
We get perpetuated in it. Right. So instead of thinking about how I'm going to change the big picture, think about one change you can make in your regular routine.
Gotcha.
That's
great.
talking about little, tiny, like truly little tweaks. So let's say, for example, you are trying to save money. Your financial situation is kind of a wreck, and you're thinking, okay, I got to get some money in the bank here. I got to start saving $100 a month.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to take major, drastic changes, and
Right.
unless you're a really highly disciplined person, you're not going to be able to do it. So instead,
Or have a big time
figure out-
1% job.
Right. So instead, try and find these little minor tweaks. So, for example, say you have your morning coffee run that you make, and you always get a large whatever. Get a medium whatever. Usually it's about $1 difference between a medium and a large, whatever it is. Right?
That might require me to deprive myself of some pleasure.
Well, no, but see, it's not. You're still getting the same drink. You're just getting,
Getting
4
less of it.
ounces less of it. Okay?
I like it.
But that's going to add up to about, $20 or so a month.
Sure.
At the end of the year, you got $2,400 in the bank for not really having done anything significant. So it's just
Cha-ching.
yeah, right. So it's just the little tweaks like that. So, or say you're kind of stuck in a work rut, like I have been of late. Well, I can get overwhelmed when I have this huge project in front of me and think there's no way I'm going to get this done. Well, instead of, then I get overwhelmed. Then I start distracting myself because I don't want to do it. It's kind of the flight or fight mechanism. You have that response to stress, and you do that in your work life. Wherever these things are stressing you out, you fight it or you run away from it by distracting yourself with something else. Anyway, so I've kind of learned that when I get stuck in that work rut, I have to just flip my routine around a little bit. So a lot of times I tell myself, okay, when I first get up in the morning, I'm going to spend 3 hours working on this big project, and then I'll let myself take care of a couple emails I got to get back to and that article I need to work on and da-da-da. Well, if I flip that around and say, I'm going to do the little stuff first, and then I'll get to the big stuff later, doing that little stuff helps gets my brain going, gets me focused, and gets me moving forward.
Right,
so
gets
when
the
it's time to
monkey
do
off
the
your
big
back.
stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets the monkey off your back. Right. And there are other people who it's the other way around. Like, whatever your routine is, just flip it the other way. You know, so if you're used to doing the little stuff, then the big stuff. If you work in an office and you get to work and you have a meeting and then you do this and that, just try and flip things around a little bit and say, okay, I'm going to get to work a half an hour earlier and I'm going to return emails and then I'll go to my meeting. But just, that little half an hour earlier than you usually were there.
Make some
That's
change.
enough of a tweak sometimes to kind of click some new things.
Gotcha.
And then, same thing, like if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to gain weight or whatever, a lot of people will say, I'm going to join the gym and I'm going to, lose 20 pounds. But if you join a gym, that demands a huge change in your normal routine.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to do it. So instead, get up a little bit earlier and go for a walk. Or decide you're going to give up, like a lot of, most of the nutrition information will tell you that if you can decrease your diet by about 200 calories a day, which really isn't a lot if you think about it. That's a donut, Like just that little bit of a change, a little less sugar in your coffee, that can really add up over time, and you can kind of slowly alter your diet and get healthier.
So we've got 3 steps. Let go of the guilt. Don't blame yourself.
Yep.
Don't overthink the rut. Don't try to explain everything.
Yep.
Tweak a change. Don't try to find the solution for everything.
Right.
And our
then
4th step.
4, finally, is after a couple of weeks of these tweaks, then take a little bit of time to evaluate. Then you look back and you go, okay, I've made a couple of little minor changes. Things seem like they're turning around a little bit. Now, what do I want to do to make bigger changes? What are some bigger goals that I have for myself in this area? And then what other little minor tweaks can I make that can move me in that direction?
Then you can evaluate and make a plan.
Make a plan, that's right. Because you'll see what's worked and what hasn't, and because you've been practicing these little tweaks.
Carla Barnhill suggests, hey, if you're stuck in a rut, stop blaming yourself about it. Don't come up with that big explanation. Make small changes rather than the solution to everything. Then you can evaluate this new life that you've been living and see if a plan reveals itself.
Well said.
Carla Barnhill, the advice giver over here and also on KSTP television on Twin Cities Live. What was the last time you were on the live show?
I was on about a month ago,
Yep.
and I will hopefully be on again soon. They have me on about once a month.
It's
so.
about time, and you should keep your DVRs loaded.
That's right. I'll let you know.
Let us all know.
Find
Hey,
me
that's
on
Carla
Facebook,
Barnhill.
and I'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Carla.
Great
You're
job,
welcome.
Carla.
Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Hey, a little good advice every once in a while when we let Carla talk on the show. It turns out to be quite helpful to a person.
Hey, say hi to Karen for me.
We sure will. Doug Pagitt Radio, religious radio that's not quite right. Living live on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. And you can get this, videos, and podcasts over at DougPagittRadio.com. Stick around with us. We're going to have the Cripes to come on. You got to be kidding me. And then our friend Karen Dahlstrand Rivadenaria.